All right, so 2 weekends ago, I photographed a wedding and it was amazing. The ceremony was meaningful, it was awesome, but it was an hour and a half long. And as the ceremony was going on, I saw the sunset light just go further and further and further away. And I realized as soon as the couple recessed, it's dark out here. The sun was gone, the light was gone, and it was steadily getting darker and darker and darker. This happens more often than you would think on wedding days. And so I'm gonna show you how I handled it so if it happens to you in the future, you know what to do. All right, so just to set the stage, this was a beautiful day, awesome couple, very unique situation. It was actually more like a recommitment ceremony. They've been married for 20 years. You can read all that on my blog, but this is what you need to know. The ceremony went long, but it also started late. And it started late because there were some storms, the rings were lost, hair and makeup did not go as planned. None of this was our couple's fault, but the entire day leading up to this point was very stressful and close to an hour and a half, 90 minutes behind schedule. So once the ceremony ended, the compound effect of all the things that didn't go well landed on me with portrait time. And that's okay. I'm a professional. I handle this stuff all the time. And so actually, as we were shooting this, we were saying to ourselves, this is really hard, but it's gonna be great for KJ All Access. It's gonna be powerful for photographers to see how I handle this because this is not uncommon. This happens to a lot of people. And so I'm gonna show you how I took advantage of the very little light that I did have and still walked away from this part of the wedding day with images that I was proud of. So they're not aware right here, but literally they're about to realize, oh man, we're running out of light.
All right, pictures, right?
Yes, we got light. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. We can do over here. This beautiful tree.
Over here, guys.
I think the house is dark. We already got it. Unless you feel good. Good. There are so many good nuggets in here. Photographers, I hope you paid attention to that 2-second interaction. Bride says, "Oh, not the house? You don't want to go to the house?" And I remember thinking in my head, "Oh, she wants the house. Should we go to the house?" No, I know what's best. I know how dark it is. It is getting dark. This looks brighter than it really felt, and it gets dark fast. I'm about to shoot portraits at 2500 ISO. I never do that. She mentioned the house because in her mind, think about this. She's not a photographer. In her mind, you shoot with the grand house. You don't shoot on the side of the driveway. But she's trusting me. She's like, "No, girl, you do you." But I checked. I said, unless the house means something to you and you really want to go over there. But this was me standing up for what I knew needed to happen as a professional photographer. And if you get questioned on a wedding day, that is your job to recognize they don't know what they want. They don't realize how great this spot is until they see the photos. Let me take one quick shot of y'all. Okay. You can get on this side of her, actually, because of her swoop. Quick portrait, and then I got to get a kiss shot, a good shot, remarried shot. Oh, guys, that was just amazing. She's smiling at me. I love it. Pull her in a little tighter. Guys, eyes have not balled like that. Why did I wear mascara? I don't even know. Beautiful. Big smiles, forehead to forehead, eyes closed, just resting against one another. Beautiful. Stay just like you are. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Both of you smiling here. Your temples can touch. Looking right here. Gosh, guys, amazing. Perfect. Let's get some group shots in, okay? Y'all can come up on the rocks a little bit. Your dress should be just fine. Okay, let's go ahead and have
Asher and Eden.
Yes, they can come on over.
You want just them or you want everybody?
Let's start with just them. Okay. Perfect.
So I'm recognizing I still have all the speakers need photos, family needs photos. I'm looking at my hand to feel like, is this the right way to be facing? But it's really our only option. And so we're going to continue to face this direction, get these family shots done, and then add in her parents. Her dad is struggling with an oxygen machine, so we're going to try to adjust to him. We have a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yes, yeah, you're good. Yep. Perfect. Yes. I'm backing up just because of changing my lens. This is beautiful. Smiling here, everybody. 1, 2, and 3. Gorgeous. Oh, guys. One more. Everybody laugh at. Who did we laugh at last time? Asher, I'll give you a break. Oh, yeah. He's a good one. Everyone laughing at me. Beautiful. Laughing here.
All right, so I am shooting these at like 2500 ISO, and I'm doing that because, quite honestly, Tyler is filming this and he's adjusting his settings to be able to have like a proper exposure, but it was darker than what you see here. It doesn't look that dark here because of his settings. It was dark. I mean, really dark. And if I'm having to shoot at, if I'm shooting at 2.0, 2500 ISO, and my shutter is about as low as it can go safely, then you know that like this is just, we're at dusk. We're at dusk on an overcast day. So it was very tricky. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I can't do anything different. I'm just going to trust that I can restore, with some noise reduction, that I can make these not look so grainy. And honestly, 2500 ISO is not that bad, especially for the R6.
All right, we're gonna hurry to avoid some rain. All right, so Jenny Ray, stand up nice and tall, boobs out. Yes, there you go. Perfect. Yes. Okay, everyone's keep your hips towards Jenny Ray. Turn your shoulders towards me. Yes, girls. Oh, my word. Smiling right here. 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. Everyone laughing at each other. Eden and Jenny Ray laughing at each other. Yes. Jenny Ray's laughing at me.
All right, so let's talk about why I'm backed up so far. I'm using the 28-70. Now, I did have a thought just now. I probably could have saved some of my ISO if I had put on a prime lens, but I was trying to also save time by using this lens that can get wide and tight. But I could have put on my 85mm and stayed back and got the same look, very similar look, actually a better look in my opinion. And I could change my ISO, but in the rush of it all, I just was trying to get it done. So I back up so that I can zoom in so that I have higher compression, and I think everything looks better. I think it looks better from a framing perspective. I like the compression in the background. All right, so now I am doing some individual shots very quickly, and it is starting to rain.
Tact. There you go. Beautiful. You're good. Jody. Did we get the members yet? Oh, we'll do that after these. Yep, they're getting their individuals done.
So Jenny Ray was just asking, "Oh, can we get a group photo?" And that tells me it's just this is a really good mindset shift for me. I have to remind myself, she is not in this world. She's not a photographer. And this probably rings true for a lot of you. Clients don't know that we know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to leave the wedding day and never do a big group photo of the bridal party. I just would never let that happen. But they don't know that. Jenny Ray doesn't know that. And so, she's worrying about that. Make sure she says something because she doesn't want to miss that. But I would never, I would never do it. So anyway, it's a good perspective for me to not default to like, oh my gosh, you really think I would not take that photo and get defensive? Instead, being like, oh, yep, nope, it's coming. And just remind myself, she doesn't know. She's just worried she's not going to get what she wants. When I'm thinking about this, I'm trying to avoid puddles. I strategically don't have them far underneath that big tree because of shadows. This is actually working really well because the tree line in the back is above their heads. So their heads are against something of substance. It's not just against a white sky. And it's a lot of black. It's a lot of dark heaviness, but honestly, it adds some good pop. It's not a bad thing. I do have a whole group of people standing behind us that are waiting for shots, like speaker family portraits with the couple. So that's another reason I feel a little bit like, we got to do this, because there's a lot of people standing behind me waiting for their turn. And again, it's raining.
Last 4 girls come to this side. 4 of you are coming over here. We're intermingling guy, girl, guy, girl. Okay? So we need a woman right here. So y'all can back up a little. We're going to need a guy right here. No, we're going to save time. We'll keep him right here. Perfect. Come on in right in between here. You can come right here. We'll make some room. Y'all back up just a little bit. Wow, guys, great following instructions. That was amazing. That was amazing. Maybe the fastest we've ever done that. Okay, here we go. So we're standing up nice and tall. We're getting in really close. I don't know if y'all know each other, but you're about to. So get in really close for me.
Those few who've been in KJL Access for a while, you know that joke, that phrase, it's so old. I've got to come up with some new things.
Look at Katelyn's camera.
Smile right here. 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. Now, newlyweds, sharing a kiss. We're getting excited. We're screaming. We're shouting. Anything to show that we love them. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that was okay, but they need to hear you inside. We're doing it again. 1, 2, 3!
And when I say the bands made clear, like the bands of rain, they've been coming and going all day. But what I didn't really realize 100% was that we're at the end of the light. So, like, yes, it looks like it's going to get brighter, but about the time that this rain passes is right when sunset is naturally happening. So, it did not get brighter. It just got darker really quick. All right, so let's talk through just in general. Being underneath a tree is normally not a great idea on an overcast day. But I can recall several times during all access filming where I have actually pulled people under a tree on an overcast day and loved the results. And the reason why this happens sometimes, it's not always the case, but the reason why it happens sometimes is that even though the light is soft, when you have people out in the middle of like an open field and the sun is above their heads through the clouds, sometimes the light is still producing some interesting, faint but prevalent shadows on their face. The light underneath here is actually very soft because it's coming from a smaller opening, which that kind of contradicts when you think like smaller opening is going to mean harsher light. But this is tricky. So above their heads, there is no light coming from above their heads. The tree is above their heads, but there is a large light source of openness from coming from behind where Michael and I are standing. Look at Michael and I, look at our faces, look how dark they look. But then look at the difference between all of their faces. They're being exposed from the light coming from behind Michael and I. And that light is only coming from that angle. It's not coming from up above as well. And so it actually creates a more flattering form of light. It also, the background is going to be somewhat brighter outside of the shade of the tree than those of us in the shade of the tree, but because it's overcast, it's not super blown out. And I actually think it creates this really beautiful, like soft light. So it's fascinating because normally I'd be like, oh, you don't want to be in a darker spot on a darker day. We were only under this tree because of the rain. We wouldn't choose to be under this tree, but I do think, honestly, if it wasn't raining, I still may have done a portrait or two under here just to change it up from using that field. But I did love it. My ISO was cranked. I think we're at 3200 now. But I did like the look of this light. So that was a win. In the midst of the chaos, that was a win.
Leaning against him. Nathan, kind of meet her in the middle. Yes, just like that. Beautiful. One more. Relax your eyes, Jenny. Just a light. Yes. Beautiful. Let those eyes fall down towards his chest. You can look towards his chest. Rest against him. Nathan, you're looking right at me, Nathan, right here. Beautiful. Jenny, turn all the way towards him. You're just going to rest your forehead against his chin line, like his jawline. Yes. Beautiful. Hold on to him. Guys, that was the most beautiful ceremony I've been a part of, and I've shot over 400 weddings. Amazing. Stay like this. Your eyes are looking down towards her. Beautiful. You can look down a little further towards her, almost like you're kissing her forehead, Nathan. Beautiful. Couple more. I might have everybody back up just a little bit so I can get a wide shot. Y'all can kiss for real. Beautiful. Wow, you two. Pull her in. Pull her in. Beautiful. Enjoy being together. You did it. You can relax. Or you can keep going. That is fine too. I love it. Guys, anytime I say, okay, and you can stop and you want to keep going, that's great.
Whatever.
Let's, I think the sprinkling is stopping a little bit. Let's pull you a little bit forward. Okay, beautiful. You're smiling here, heads are touching. Beautiful. You're going to face him all the way, Jenny Ray. Flowers in the left hand. Actually, stay like that. Stay like that. Rest against each other.
Side note, oh my gosh, I just sounded so country. Side note, so glad I took these because they were my favorite portraits in the field. The ones I took earlier were just too rushed. They were not natural. I didn't love them.
Beautiful. Stand. I'm sorry, I'm going to get kind of centered if you can. Stay just like you are. Oh, heavens, you too. Jenny Ray, you can look down over your shoulder towards me. He's going to nuzzle in right on that hairline. Let those eyes fall down. So not looking at me, you're just looking towards the ground. Beautiful. Pull her in tight, Nathan. Love of your life. You got to marry this woman twice. How lucky are you? Jenny Ray, look at me. Perfect. Let those eyes fall. Both of you smiling at me right here. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Chins up just a little bit. Get those eye sockets nice and bright. Beautiful. Bouquet around the shoulder. She's gonna, yes, you got it. He's gonna kiss you and dip you back just a little bit. And I'm shooting wide, just so you know. All right, you're gonna share a kiss here. Beautiful. Yes. Gorgeous. Beautiful, guys. Heads together, temples together, blank stare, looking right at me. Temples are just touching nicely. Yes. No smiling. Model shot here. Beautiful. I don't know if you're ticklish, Jenny Ray, but we're going to try. He's going to tickle you. You're laughing at me. He's leaning into you. So you're looking at her, Nathan. You're looking at her. So your nose can be on her temple again. Pull her in really close. Tickle her a little bit. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Stay like that, you two. You look like you're 19. Perfect. Share a little.
I am like a sieve right now. Like my nose is like, it's not raining.
I love it. Beautiful. Share a light kiss for me. Smiling afterwards right at each other. Both of you looking right here at me. Temples touching one last time. Guys, let's get that balloon shot. That was perfect. That was perfect. That's what I needed. Overall, this was such a win. Like this could have been a complete disaster. And I think as I watch back and I relive this stressful part of a wedding day, I've come up with a few tips that I want to share to help you conquer any similar situation you may find yourself in. All right, so tip number 1 is to prioritize what cannot be done later. And so in my mind, I flew through bridal party and family formals because my priority was natural light portraits with the couple. I knew that if we had other family formals that really needed to get done, I could set up my umbrella inside and use off-camera flash and create a beautiful portrait there. I didn't have to spend my very little amount of time I had with natural light outside, pretty much in the dark. I didn't want to spend that with family formal. So we flew through those, really flew through bridal party. And I knew that bridal party, we wanted a few shots, but this is also like a second wedding for them. And I know they wanted pictures with their people, but their priority was not going to be spending all of that time with the big group. This is where it comes to like thinking through on the spot, what should come next. As soon as we went out there, I went right into some bride and groom portraits right on the edge of the field. And I'll admit they were rushed, right? I was just trying to get the top priority done to have something so that once I started doing bridal party, once I started doing family formals, if a downpour happened, I at least had a few portraits because again, that's where the top priority comes into mind. As I was walking out, the bride was talking about, oh, we need family, and I heard her say those things, but I knew, because I'm the photographer and she's not, I knew that we could do that inside if we really had to. And so that's what made me make the decision, take them to the field directly, do that first. Even if it's only 3 portraits, just get something done first in the realm of that first priority, which was the bride and groom. Just so you know, when I say I flew through the bridal party shots, what I meant was I did less pairings, I did less like stand back vertical shots. I just didn't do as much variety. So I was shooting so quickly, but I wasn't shooting recklessly, which leads me to my second point. So my second point is you want to shoot quickly and efficiently, but you don't want to be reckless in the process. Sometimes the mad dash to get all this done, it is terrifying to get back and realize the part of the day that was so fast paced, you thought you got what you needed, but your shutter was too low or you're shooting too quickly and you never locked in focus and everything is soft. You can fix an image that's a little bit dark or maybe the composition's not perfect. You cannot fix a blurry image. Sure, there are some tools where you can add some sharpening, but if you are really off, you can't fix that later. And so it's important to be efficient, get things done, and be fast. But if you're reckless, that's going to hurt you more later. And that's something you may not be aware of in the stress of the moment. So if you can remember anything, I think this is more important even than the first tip because this is something that has to be done right. You have to slow down to capture sharp images in the moment. That's not something that you can fix in post-processing. So just a little tip to go off of that last tip is to not be afraid of higher ISO. So for me, higher ISO is me eliminating some unnecessary risks because I could have shot this with a prime lens, not the 28-70, which I did think about in hindsight. I could have shot with a prime lens, let in more light, shot at like 1.6, 1/60th of a second. My ISO could have come down to like 1,000. but there's a lot more risk there. There's some risk shooting wide open. There's some risk with a longer shutter. There's a lot of things that would be scary to me shooting that quickly, and so I chose to increase my ISO so I didn't have to worry about these things. That really falls into more of like a technical priority. So the first tip was about like the content, like there's a priority that needs to happen with the content. The second tip is there's priorities that need to happen with the settings. Okay, so the third tip is to have a plan before you're out there. Like I had an hour and a half at this ceremony to be thinking about, what am I gonna do when this thing is over? Like, how am I gonna handle the fact that I'm watching the sunset? If I had just ran out with the bride and groom and hadn't predetermined what I needed to accomplish and how I wanted it to go, I would be using up valuable time and valuable light trying to get myself together. Also, if you don't have a plan, you can be kind of swayed by outside opinions. So pre-planning allows me to go out there knowing exactly what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, instead of feeling like I'm floundering. And I think this also goes back to the idea that you have to gently command authority. So if you have a plan, what use is the plan if you don't initiate the plan, right? You can have in your head, oh, I know we need to do these things, but if you let the bride and groom run out of the recessional and just keep hugging everybody, oh, like, yes, that's sweet. But in my mind, I knew that can happen at the reception. We have to stick to the plan. We've got to keep moving forward. So when they ran out, they were trying to hug, and you can hear me. I sound a little intense, but I'm, nope, keep going, move outside. That was a part of my plan. We're not going to hug in the hallway. We're going to leave. What happens if a bride and groom get stuck in the hallway right outside of where the ceremony is? They get overtaken by the guests. They'll never get out there. So I like to believe, and I'd like to think, that my pushing, like, no, keep going, you can see something shift with the bride and groom as soon as they get outside. And they realize the urgency of what's happening. They realize, oh my gosh, that was amazing, but wow, the light is gone. We've got to hurry. And so because I pushed them and I had a plan and I stuck to my plan, I helped them switch gears and realize the urgency of what was happening so that I wasn't the bad guy. So when you have a plan and you stick with it, people start to listen to you, because in the moment of panic, everyone loves the person who's in charge. Everyone loves the person who's taking things by the horns and making stuff happen. Okay, so just a parting tip before we leave. Just make sure if you find yourself in this situation, it's okay to lower expectations about what your normal work is versus what you're going to create in a critical moment like what you just saw on this wedding day. And so I hope this was helpful. If you find yourself just struggling with low light, rush, timeline is off, maybe even some rain thrown in there, I hope this is empowering to you. If you are interested in seeing what happened at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, what the ceremony was all about, if you want to see, honestly, 40 plus episodes of me shooting weddings like this, you can through KJ All Access, which is where our students learn from me behind the scenes every single month. So there's a link to that below. Check it out. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. I hope you will subscribe if you haven't already so you can see more content that comes to you every Thursday. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.